All right, let's have a look. So, greetings, dear Libra. This is you over here. This is Tarot Illumination. This is your general report, kind of spiritual broad spectrum thing for August 2018. If you've been cross-watching or checking out your sun, moon, rising and watched the other videos, you've probably picked up already that it's going to be quite a turbulent month. I'm going to focus on one date in particular. Before we get into the cards, I wanted to show you some of these things. This is a Tarot Illumination Astro Doodle. Just another one that we do. These are my own notes, but I'm sharing them, okay? There's a lot of stuff going on in August, the Leo month, especially in the early and middle parts. The early parts, we have a lot of like what I think of as hangover, aftershock effects coming out of July, the end of July, with that massive, super ultra stressful full moon eclipse with the Leo Aquarius thing in very hard aspect with Uranus. So over here, it would sort of appear in this area here like a big fat T-square. Actually, if you look very faintly, I'm just putting that in here. This was the big eclipse coming out of July, and the aftershock might be something to do with your love life, your romantic relationships, true love, creativity, creative self-expression, and having had some big jolts because the eclipse would have been there at the full moon eclipse right there, and it's under a tremendous pressure from the Leo against the moon here and the Uranus over here. Basically part of a really very stressful T-square, and you could even factor this in as well. So that affected you. It's not, you're not any of those signs, but what I'm saying is the eclipse energy would have hit you in a kind of a sensitive part of the chart when it comes to love, okay? And that's a big theme here at Tarot Illumination. So I wanted to mention that. If you felt some earthquakes, upheavals, massive shifts and changes in what appears to be your love life, and then like how that affects the intimacy in your love life, and then how that affects like how you fit in with the people around you, given the shifts and the earthquakes and the tumultuous changes that are happening. So when it comes into, okay, let's get to it here. August 2018 for Libra, we're just going to cherry pick one date. The new moon Leo eclipse, August 11th. It's happening for you in your 11th house right here. Sun, Moon, and Mercury and the North Node all heavily lit up right now, and that's a lot of pressure. There's a ton of other stuff going on, but we don't have time here. So in this 11th house, we're talking about the community, the group, your friends, your people, your like your club, your mates, your buddies, the power in the group, the sharing. It's just like being part of like a golf club or a swim club or a community activity club, anything where the self is subjugated to the group. So it's a very sort of like a very selfless house. And what's happening here is it's like the eclipse is asking you almost like how well and how brilliantly are you shining in this part of your life as a very unique individual person in the context of the group, having lived, let's say, perhaps suffered or been shocked and blitzed by this eclipse. Where does that take you now? Because in terms of a ticking clock, what is being eclipsed out of your life? Kaboom! In terms of where you stand in the community with your friends and your people. And what is being eclipsed into your life as you move forward from there? Like there's life before and then there's life after. So your role in the community setting, in your associates, could start to feel very, very different for you. How do you relate to people now? Are you becoming more and more selfless, more and more concerned about the welfare of the community above yourself? In which case that would be quite appropriate. And yet we're not allowed to dissolve the self into oblivion or martyrdom. or anything like that, or self-sacrificing. So it's kind of a conundrum here to deal with this stuff, especially if there's a love interest involved. Okay, quite surprising, shocking in some ways what's happening. So anyway, I don't want to dwell on this too much, but I just wanted to, point it out because it's still here. It's very strong. It's active, and things will settle down by the end of the month. But right now, in the middle part of the month, there's an awful lot of highly stressful aspects that are triggering those hot spots in your life, but especially this one here. Okay, what is being eclipsed into your community? What is being eclipsed out of your community? Okay, cards are well shuffled in advance, but I want to go to the last second so that you're a witness. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. There's no time, there's no room. Please bring in your invisible friends. That's what we do here at Terra Lumination. Make it a group effort. Think of it as the Aquarian way. Think of it as the Iranian way. Shocking, weird, different, bizarre, out of whack, quirky, interesting, and fun. There we go. So making that happen. Also with that 11th house, you can think of like global communications, like internet, networking, social media, anything to do with the group, the society, okay? Where it is the group that dominates as opposed to the individual. So prepare yourself for irreversible shifts and changes, okay? Now, do your cross-watching, of course, for significant others, but even though this is not love and relationship readings, it still can help to cross-watch others. Also, watch your sun, moon, and rising if all of those three are different. Or maybe you've got a combo, but whatever it is, try to cover all the bases, okay? And then reinterpret to suit yourself so that you have a fully comprehensive reading for August, okay? We're going to use this beating heart spread because it's very broad spectrum, but then we can focus and drill down with laser focus to the heart center. Okay, you'll see in a moment. Okay, so thank you for listening. Wow, sorry, I've been going on a long time before we even got to the cards. Forgive me. Bless the cards, bless this reading, bless this deck, bless you, dear Libra, bless the internet, bless all the computers and cameras and cables that make this all happen. The lighting and everything. All right, this is the core heart center of you. What is it saying? What is it pulsing? The heart needs what it needs. It wants what it wants. Are you listening, Libra? The farther out of alignment you are with your heart, the farther you are out of alignment with your life. Okay, this affects everything and anything around you. Okay, so it's best to come into alignment here. What are you bringing in with you? How did you deal with the eclipses in July? How did the Cancer Capricorn, the Cancer new moon eclipse hit you? Because that would have been a very hard square. And the end of July was very stressful for a lot of people. And early August to the middle, in fact, pretty much to the end of August, it's potentially a very stressful month for a lot of people. Over here, the ever-present now. Where are you right now? What kind of energy are you radiating right now? The now is sometimes very uncomfortable because it means you have to be totally grounded, present, conscious, and here. And the more uncomfortable it is here, the more likely you are to wig out and look for ways to dwell in the past or project into the future, anything to avoid the now. Let's have a look over here. But it is in the now where you own your power, no matter how uncomfortable. And then you can express your power and activate your power through the healing power of your decisions, and with the core theme of Terra Lumination, to love thyself. Okay, so what would that energy look like? In effect, how would you do that effectively? How would you love yourself effectively using your decision-making processes? Because what is most loving for you is best for your significant others, your relationships, your community, your loved one, your like value, your values, your sense of intimacy with. I'm just going to show you here. Over here, this axis here is still active, very much the Taurus Scorpio axis, and it hits you kind of on these sensitive spots to do with value and values, how you are valued by others, how others value you. Anyway, moving on, what kind of consequence does this generate? If you're always abdicating the now and the present and kind of living off your limbic system, everything's on autopilot, then this would feel like fate. That's perfectly okay to way to live if you want to. Uh, I'd like to encourage people to stay as present as possible and be a full participant in your own evolution and take full advantage and have full awareness of the energies that are around you, even though you can't see them. They have consequence. Okay? Over here, what happens if you are totally out of it and you're not getting it? You're losing your power, losing your opportunity. You're tuning into fear. You are dominated and owned by the fears of all this stuff. It's challenging stuff happening. What happens when you? That's what that would look like. On the other hand, when you are in your power, what would that look like? It's this same energy. One is the inverse of the other. Prospects and momentum for the next beat. The heart is always beating and pumping from the moment you're conceived and coming alive to the moment you pass. And it's up to us to stay tuned into that. The more loving, the more you activate the healing power of love, bring love to love thyself, the more the heart can work for you and be there for you. So the aura would start from core heart energy here, literally a pulse, which would radiate out to here in the heart shape, which has a consequential aura around you, much bigger and wider than you. And that's what affects the community. But it starts from here. So it's almost like, how are you going to become your most shiny, brightest self at the heart core so that you can have this beautiful community-based type of aura that's good for everybody? So they love you, you love them, without anybody having to be more special than the other. Over here, let's have a look at what I think of as weather, circumstantial, environmental energy. Page of Swords. So you might be all kind of fired up with the Leo energy and also having come out of the Leo Aquarius eclipse at the end of the month, which was very, very high pressure, and coming into August with this energy of kind of a massive, almost like this loose grand cross. It's a tremendous amount of pressure for everybody. And you could feel in some ways like almost like getting caught off guard, where you're highly stressed to the point where it could be very easy for you to basically um, be aware that people notice you and you see people. And like with the Page of Swords, like the environmental energy, to me it feels like a hair trigger, very, very easy to be outspoken, to call out, to say things when they, when there's almost no lag time between thinking and speaking, and that can lead to trouble, so to speak. So to me, it feels very, very important to be, even though the environment around you might be very encouraging, because the Leo Aquarius energies are very, very supportive and harmonious for you. However, the Leo Aquarius energies and the Leo energy are in heavily conflicted alignments with Jupiter and Uranus and Mars and whatever else it is. So you have to be very, very careful about what you say and how you speak, because to me, it almost feels like the boomerang effect. If you're willing to speak up and like be the truth police and just call out things as they are, please understand that just the slightest words, if they're not shrouded or delivered with the intent of love, it can be painfully received by others, and vice versa. That could come to you too. So just be very, very careful. That's what I'm sensing here for you, Libra. It's a very volatile situation right now. Very easy to get in trouble, even with the best of intent. I mean, the Page of Swords energy is around. There's nothing malicious about this. It's just like the desire for the truth, the desire to cut to the truth. This is almost like the whistleblower energy, the freedom fighter, the vigilante. That's what I feel, and that's great. And this is almost like classic Aquarian energy in its own right. 11th house, Aquarius, all that kind of thing. But it's in very challenging aspects right now. So it's like to me, it feels like that electric atmosphere, in the heavy summer in the North America, where sometimes it gets so hot or humid, and in town or somewhere where you're near to a lot of telephone poles, and it's sort of like twilight magic hour, and you hear all this like energy going on the electricity wires, the transformers, and the telephone poles. That's what this feels like to me. Like, okay, that's great, but it's like they're just about to blow, so be very careful. Everything's maxed out. Anybody could blow fuses at any moment. What's happening here at the core heart level? High Priestess. My feeling here is that there's probably a lot going on at the subconscious level, and you're just not aware. The heart is aware of that. You might not be aware of it. That's the thing, Libra. And my feeling is the heart is like saying, like, it's about time we get to this level, these high frequency levels of being, because that's where you need to be, that's where the heart needs to be and wants to be. And without any like sense of judgment or question or doubt, uh, like any kind of disrespect. So to me, again, feels very delicate in a community atmosphere. Like, where is it that you stand, Libra, with your people? Where do your people stand with you? And at the heart level here, my feeling is the heart is saying, like, please listen, listen, listen very carefully to your deepest intuition. And even when you've done that, allow that there's going to be stuff that you can't possibly know. We can't possibly know everything and anything all at once, and that's okay. So if Libra, you are like in a frame of mind where you're all fired up because of the, let's say, the supportive, positive aspects of the eclipses, to get to the point where you feel like you've got like superpowers, superhuman. You know, electrical currents moving through you, which gives you like, I don't know, I don't like superhero capabilities. Please be careful of that, because it could be very easy to get hurt or be hurt, to hurt someone or be hurt by others because of what's going on here. I don't know if you've ever had experienced that, where you get so like happy in your own energy, you feel like on top of the universe, and it's so easy to like elbow somebody or step on someone's toes or shine your light so much brighter than the other person that it could almost be like an embarrassment. Like, you know, all I'm suggesting here is temper the energy. The heart wants to be very, very mellow, very, very tempered, and allow that we don't have to know everything all the time. Allow for the mystery to unfold here as we move through August and come through into September, because August is going to be very choppy, very, very choppy, kind of shock and awe type of energy. And to me, the heart is saying we need to be very, very serene, very, very deeply tuned into like like the spiritual aspect of community, sorry, over here, and allow for all the things that we don't understand in our three-dimensional world, with all the shifts that are happening, with all the things that are being eclipsed out of your life, all the things that are going to be eclipsed into your life. You'll feel it in the sense of community. And if there's a lot that you don't understand, if there's a lot that the heart, it doesn't need to know, you know? So just, it's almost like peace, 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 man. Let it be, let it be. Go around, have a wonderful time, Libra, but please, at the heart level, please allow the heart to like breathe and live its own mystery in the journey, and allow it to unfold without having to put any expectations or conditions. Okay, very, very selfless. Okay, so over here, what are we talking about? Okay, what are you bringing in with you? Obviously, there's some major concern about a love relationship here. This is not a love and relationship reading, by the way. You can go to the other playlist for August for that. This is just a broad spiritual perspective. So part of it feels to me like with the Lover's card here, you might have been shockingly uh, brought into a very vivid awareness at the end of the July, and all the aftershocks from that eclipse rattling through most of August. You might have been blown open in the area of love and relationship, right over here in your fifth house, which is where the eclipse occurred on July 27th. So I feel the aftershock could could echo for weeks and months to come. And what does that mean for you? It means to me, for your as your reader, it makes me feel like wow, 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 wow. Please pay attention. Like Libra, it's like pretend you're coming into the office here at Terra Illumination. You're like Terra Illumination. There's something very, very, very serious going on in my love life. I have no idea what it is. I know it's important, and it's almost like I'm being forced to make decisions that I don't want to make. Uh, so is that okay? And then Terra Illumination says, well, it's okay. I'm glad you just, brought it into a subject matter, put it on the table. That's good. That's the whole purpose of this card. What's in your pocket? What's in your backpack? What's in your resume? So this is serious stuff. Relationship issues are probably very serious for you right now. And how does that affect you in your community? Okay, going forward, how are you being perceived by a significant other? How is a significant other being perceived by you? Can you handle it at that level with all this light pouring on you now that you are like fully exposed? Okay, one of the things about this kind of energy, it's like when you become a whistleblower on yourself or others around you, or when the lightning hits and you get, like when you call out a certain truth and you get an instant reflection of feedback, it can be kind of shocking. So to me, it feels like there's a huge contrast between these energies here, like the heart's desire for serenity and purity and the most highest mysterious clairvoyant sensations of spiritual awareness. That's what the heart needs and wants. It's up to you to provide that. But it's happening in, to me, what feels like a very challenging relationship dynamic. Like everything might appear wonderful in some ways, but there's obviously some heavy duty undercurrents that are literally putting you into deep, let's say, questions about yourself. Having been triggered by the other. Okay, let's have a look. What about now? Okay, well, it's like, what did you expect? So it looks like you've lived your life. You've made your decisions up to this point. Just think of your life as a ticking clock. However old you are, you're always, always, always making decisions, and decisions lead to consequences. If you decide not to decide, then you're living in kind of like absent. Okay, if you decide to make decisions that are self-serving, you get consequences that might not work. If you make it might work for you in a way that aggrandizement, but it might not work for a loving relationship, perhaps. If you're making decisions, if you're seeing now the consequences of decisions that you've made in the past, and it's coming to you right in your face, in your community, and it's affecting you at the deep soul level to the point where you can feel it almost like psychic awareness here, like, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 wait a minute, wait a minute. That can be a little bit shocking. Okay, so with the Three of Wands here, like in terms of being present, being right now, to me this feels like, let's acknowledge another thing here. I haven't put it all in this chart, but during August, at the middle points, there are periods when there are six planets retrograde all at once. So that to me is like a huge sign from the universe, like, whoa, 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 slow down. Let's observe what's actually going on here. We need to take stock, review, rewind, repair. And what's happening is, to me, it feels like you're in this position where you get to look around your world, your community, your relationships to the community, your community to you, a significant one in the community, something like that, where you're starting to see like vivid, like clarity in the consequences of like how you've lived your life up to this point and how it's translating into a three-dimensional reality of what you would call consequences. Like, some people say this is a card of like your ship's coming in. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, we don't know. But it's like it's coming in. You've already set life in motion, and you're looking to the next steps, like seeing the next steps coming at you. So it could be scary, it could be wonderful, but whatever it is, it's coming at you. And the question is, what do you do now? I think it's really, really important to pause. You might want to go charging around, calling out how this is going to be, that's going to be. But with these energies here and what I just described here, my feeling is that it's very, very important to take pause, to take the time out and like tune in at the deepest, like if you have to meditate, if you've never done it before, if your heart is saying we need to go very, very deep here to try and really understand what is happening, okay? Because you're in this flux. We're in the eclipse patterns, or pretend you're at an airport going through high level international security and TSA and customs screening. It's very scary and very intimidating. Have you made good decisions? Have you made healthy, loving decisions in your life? If not, then you will be called out. You will be noticed. Okay? So let's have a look. In the present, in the now, you're still going to have to make decisions. So again, getting what you deserve. So with the Justice card here, again, please see this as totally neutral. There's no harm meant. There's nothing good or bad about this. This is just, to me, it looks like a chapter in your life where it's almost like one of those drunk driving traffic stops where everyone is forced to go through these like screening points, and the cops roll down the windows and they look inside and say, hello, how are you doing? Like, show us your license, your plate, just show us all the stuff. Okay, that's great, move on, thank you, next please, and so on. And you're kind of, I feel like you're at that funnel point, you're at that squeeze point where it's a little bit scary because you're starting, no, it's like no one warned you about this, and all of a sudden you're looking at August as a period for you where you're being like funneled through this thing here, which is going to be like a truth telling for you, and that's going to affect you and your status with the community, and it's going to affect the community and how they perceive you and how you're perceived and welcomed there. Okay, and everything is exactly as it should be. With the Justice card, when you're making decisions, please understand that compliance and order and truth and justice is absolutely paramount right now. Gosh, this reading is going to go on long. I'm sorry. Let's keep moving. How do we do that effectively? Okay. My feeling is to be very aware that whatever is not working for you, if you're feeling left out in impoverishment, you are part of the equation. Like if things are really rough for you right now, you're a part of that equation. And so it's important to accept the responsibility. If things are good for you right now, it's very important to like understand and accept that it could easily have gone this way, or it could easily go this way. The sense of being impoverished, lonely, rejected, without the resources that you think or thought you should have or deserve. It's just, I think we're talking about a serious reality check here, like a reality checkpoint. Let's call it that. Consequently, okay, with the Five of Swords, gosh, okay, well, my feeling is that in some ways this has a potential to be very uncomfortable for you, to the point where if this is, like if you're going through like a reality checkpoint here in terms of the dynamics we talked about, love and relationship, love life, romance, so to speak, significant relationships, going down to the deep soul level, and things are working out fine. But the chances are, because it is like a community reality checkpoint thing, they're going to be looking for anything and everything that's not working in regard to what is supposed to be the highest way of being in this part of your life. So they're looking for problems, like the reality police are looking for problems. And in so doing, what happens, it could create a sense of like backlash, because it's almost like they're bound to find something, and that's not going to sit well. And so it could trigger this energy of like backlash or like futile conflict, like where you get stuck in denial, like, well, that couldn't be me. It wasn't me, officer. It was someone else. And that's awkward. Okay, I'm not trying to really turn this into like a creepy, dark, or depressing, or super scary, challenging reading. What I'm trying to do is bring out, illustrate the hot spots where it's very, very, very easy to get caught out. That's what I'm trying to suggest here. It's very easy to step out of line. And even if you've got something great coming into August with love life, relationships, your karma, your destiny, your future, to me, it looks like the pressure is so strong to get it right that anything and everything that is not quite right is going to come to the surface. And that's a problem. And it's just kind of inevitable with this energy. I don't see a way around it, even though it's the Leo Aquarius stuff and that's very positive for you. So what happens if you take this personally as opposed to selflessly, pretend like the whole world has to go through this, like, you know, checkpoint thing, this screening thing, and it's not just you, it's everybody. So you don't have to take it personally and get sucked in and take the bait and try to retaliate or fight it. Just accepting like the sublime truth of what's happening right now. How does that look? How does that look when you're messing up and the ego gets involved and you take it personally? Okay. Well, you discover your own innocence. To me, it feels like you discover how, wow, you do own all this. You own all this. You are responsible for the worst outcomes because, like, you make decisions in your life. You can't blame everything on fate. And that's kind of annoying. However, if you don't take this personally and allow yourself to be like psychically screened, allow your heart to just literally totally surrender to like its most sublime self. Don't fight any of this. Just accept the fact that there are serious love and relationship dynamics being exposed here. And how does it work for you as opposed to how does it work for what's best for everybody? Okay, so it's about being very deeply self-loving, but also being very, let's say, compassionate and selfless. It's a hard equation to balance, okay? So if you get it right and you just say, oh, sorry, officer, I didn't realize I was out of compliance with blah, 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 blah. What should I do? And the officer says, well, thank you for being honest. All you have to do is fill out this form, go online, blah, 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 send in the $10 ticket fine, and you're clear to go. And it's just like, wow, okay, thank you very much. That's awesome. So you take whatever gifts and talents and resources you have and you go forward a wiser person and you continue on your amazing journey going forward, understanding that all of us are innocent and your own innocence was exposed. It's nothing personal. Okay. Consequently, let's say in terms of momentum, getting into the next beat of the heart, it's like liberty. So it's like if you take all this personally, like if there's stuff going wrong for you and you take it personally and you lash out and blame and insist on being right, it's just going to make things a lot worse. If things are still very, very challenging and you just accept, well, this is a new life unfolding, I'm just going to accept and understand and go with the flow and completely surrender over here, completely subject myself to like the divine influence here and not take any of this personally, no ego involved at all, then you get to enjoy what it feels like to go through a very, very serious, challenging spiritual community reality checkpoint and then come out the other side. So it's just like, my gosh, wow, I got through that and I discovered, guess what counts? The little cups here. Love. You get the chance to taste happiness. It actually feels good. And in other words, it's an amazing feeling to feel really good as an individual inside a community setting where everything is exactly as it should be, as opposed to trying to contrive it so that it all just works for you, because that doesn't work for the community. All right, I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope you could get something out of this. You can reinterpret however you want, all right? It's just for you. Thank you so much for visiting. Bye-bye. Sorry it went on for so long. Bye for now.